So before we begin, I would like to share a land acknowledgement. As a settler on this land and on behalf of NEADS, I would like to acknowledge the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are calling in from today. Our so-called Canada is built upon the ancestral and unceded territory of the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. These unceded and unsurrendered lands were often taken through violent, non-consensual means, and colonial violence still persists in our society today. We stand in solidarity with Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island as they fight for their rights, representation, and recognition. With many of us being settlers on this land, it is crucial that we recognize our positions within oppressive structures and our roles and responsibilities towards reconciliation. Land acknowledgements like these are only a very small part of the lifelong and constantly evolving journey we must all take as we strive to improve relationships between nations and to improve our own understandings of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. And to learn more about the land you're currently on, a link to native-land.ca will be available in the chat box below. All right, so with that, thank you so much to everyone for joining us today for the NEADS Awards Team's info session on our financial assistance programs. Today, Katja Newman, our programs manager, will discuss our Accessibility Resilience Program and National Student Awards Program. A bit about Katja. Katja is in her final year of her master's in grant writing and program evaluation at Concordia University, Chicago, and lives in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Love hybrid online work. Outside of school and work, Katja educates audiences on accessibility and inclusion related highs and lows that come with living life as a blind post-secondary student navigating the world with the help of a guide dog. Katja is also like a really cool coworker, and it's really cool to work with them. So with that, I will hand it over to them.
Thanks, Carly. I'm Katja, and assisting me today is my colleague Enyola. Yeah. So I guess we will get started with screen sharing. And essentially today we have, what we have planned is a PowerPoint presentation followed by, following which we were going to share a newly created how to apply our tutorial video for our NEADS Student Awards program. And we'll have a question period at the end. So yeah, so we'll get started. Yeah, so the National Educational Association of Disabled Students NEADS has the mandate to support full access to post-secondary education for students with disabilities across Canada. We're a cross-disability, consumer-driven charitable organization, and we support our constituents through specific programs, partnerships, publications, research, and partnerships. We're governed by a board of directors that is representative of all of the provinces and territories. Next slide. Here at NEADS, we have three key strategic program areas: student debt reduction, flexible experiences in class and on campus, and student and graduate employment. So student debt reduction is done through our two financial assistance programs, the National Student Awards Program and Accessibility Resilience Program. In terms of accessible experiences, we contribute through our number of our research initiatives to the creation of best practices for creating accessibility in the classroom and on campuses. And finally, in terms of student and graduate employment, we work with a number of other organizations to promote opportunities for students with disabilities, as well as employ a number of students and graduates within our organization. Next slide. At NEADS, we realize that students with disabilities often have multiple identities that impact their ability to access education. And as such, we've made a commitment to prioritize funding to students of multi-marginalized backgrounds, which in particular includes individuals who are Indigenous, racialized communities, 2S LGBTQIA+ persons, and first generation Canadians. Next slide. So NEADS was founded in 1986, and some highlights are the NEADS Student Awards Program was created in 2007, and the Accessibility Resilience Program was created in 2020 in response to COVID-19. Next slide. So since its creation in 2007, the NEADS Student Awards Program has given out $524,000 of financial assistance to 176 students. And the Accessibility Resilience Program has given out $193,800 of financial assistance to 124 students. Next slide. So now we're going to look a little bit at specifically the NEADS Student Awards Program. Next slide. So this year, sorry. So, sorry, just one sec. I realize that we're having some technical difficulties. Am I good to proceed, or?
You're good to go, Katja.
Good to go? Okay. Okay, so in the 2022 cycle of the NEADS Student Awards Program, we're offering 7 types of awards. First, we have the NEADS Student Awards, which are valued at $3,000. The number that is available each year varies depending on the amount of funding received. But in 2022, there will be 42 of these awards available. We also have 2 memorial awards, the Christine Nieder Memorial Award and the Holly Bartlett Memorial Award. Both of these are valued at $1,000 and are in memory of past NEADS board members. The Christine Nieder Memorial Award will specifically be given to a graduate student. Through a partnership, we also administer the Accessible Media Incorporated Robert Pearson Memorial Scholarship. Accessible Media Incorporated is an accessible broadcasting company that predominantly gears its content to individuals who are blind or partially sighted. This scholarship was named in memory of the organization's accessibility officer who passed away in 2015. There are 2 of these awards, each valued at $5,000, and one will be given out to a student in the English community, and a second will be given out in the Francophone community. Our largest award is the Canada Post Student Award, which is valued at $10,000. This award will be given to a student who demonstrates leadership, initiative, and respect in their studies, research, and community involvement. And last but not least, but we're very excited to this year be offering for the first time the Connor Clark and Lung Financial Group scholarship, which is valued at $5,000 and will be given to a student who is pursuing studies in business and technology and other related fields. And last, we have the Bridgman Hogue Memorial Scholarship. This is a $1,000 award that will specifically be given to a student who is blind, visually impaired, or deafblind. And it's an award that is funded through a group of private donors. If we can go to the next slide. Okay, so here we have some basic eligibility criteria. So applicants must be permanent citizens or permanent residents or Canadian citizens. You must have a permanent disability that impacts your ability to access education. And you must also be enrolled or accepted to a post-secondary institution at the time of application. So what this means in the case of high school students who are also eligible is you have to have received an offer of admission. If you can go to the next slide. So there are 4 basic components to the application process, and we'll see that a little bit further on in the presentation when we share with you our how to apply video. But essentially, students will be required to provide proof of enrollment, so either a letter of admission or a proof of enrollment letter from your school's registrar's office. Students will also be asked to have an academic good standing verification form filled out by an educational institution staff member. And this form was implemented to try and move away from ableist numeric methods of gauging academic performance. So in the past, transcripts were used to measure this, but this is a new addition to our process this year, where a link to the form will be included within the application, along with instructions on who eligible individuals are to fill out the form. And the forms will be submitted to us via the institution staff member and not by the student. The application also involves providing the contact info for a academic or community reference, who is a person who knows you personally, either in the academic context or professional context, so it's not a family member or a friend. And finally, the main body of the application is completing a questionnaire comprised of 4 questions. This is what our selection committee looks at when selecting recipients. Applicants will talk about such topics as self-advocacy, academic and career goals, community involvement, and media accessibility. We can go to the next slide. Here we have a testimonial from one of our 2020 recipients, Karen Tang from Nova Scotia, who received one of our $3,000 awards. And I'm just going to invite Anula to read out the quote.
Sorry, I was having difficulty there. So Karen says, it is an honor to be a recipient of the 2020 NEADS Student Awards. Thank you for supporting disabled students in their higher education journey. This award empowers me to continue to pursue my career goals of working as a clinical psychologist, specializing in diverse populations, including individuals from the disabled community, by bringing my lived experience with disability into my clinical approach.
Thank you, Anula. And just before we continue on to talking about the Accessibility Resilience Program, I just want to add 2 things that that I had missed, which were applicants are considered for all award types that they're eligible automatically through a One Central application, with the exception of the Accessible Media Incorporated. scholarship, which will require students to answer an extra question on the application form. And another important note is that the application deadline for the 2022 edition of the NEADS Student Awards is May 31st at 5 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, so if we can flip the slide to the ARP description. So as was mentioned earlier, the Accessibility Resilience Program was created in 2020 in response to COVID-19 to support students with adjustments to studying in our pandemic world. The program was continued with generous support from the Government of Canada's Supports for Student Learning program, because we're still in a recovery phase and students are still experiencing additional costs with studying either in person or online. So this program essentially gives grants of $1,000 or $5,000 that are intended to help offset additional costs from COVID-19 and studying either in person or online. We launched the 2022-2023 version of the program back on December 15th, 2021, and applications will be accepted on an ongoing basis until December 15th, 2022. 174 awards will be given out total, 154 $1,000 grants and $25,000 grants. We can flip to the next slide. So these grants are intended to help support students in a few specific areas. So grant funding can be used to purchase assistive technology like screen reading software, computers, tablets, etc. Can be used for cables and accessories like HDMI cords, webcams, keyboards, etc. For ergonomic desk equipment like height adjustable desks, footrests, or ergonomic chairs. It can be used for program-specific educational training and software, living costs like internet bills and rent, or other costs like tuition and mental health related costs. We can go to the next slide. So here we have an anonymous testimonial from one of our 2020 recipients, and I'll invite Neola again to read that out.
So they say, thank you so much for this financial support. This award is an absolute honor to receive. Since the pandemic began, my financial situation has been unstable, and this sum has allowed me to pay for an entire semester of university.
That concludes the PowerPoint presentation part of the presentation, and now I'll pass it over to Carly, who is going to share with us a video that we created that illustrates how to apply to the NEADS Student Awards program.
There we go. Okay. Now we are at the screen. So whenever you're ready.
Hello and welcome to the National Educational Association of Disabled Students National Student Awards Program, How to Apply video. The NEADS team is going to walk you through the application process to help you better understand what to expect when applying to our National Student Awards program. If you are not already on the needs.ca webpage, open your internet browser of choice and enter www.neads.ca into the search bar. When the page has loaded, select whether you wish to view our site in English or in French.
NEADS homepage now visible.
From the needs.ca homepage, select the Education tab located at the top left of your screen, and then select the National Student Awards Program option from the drop-down menu.
Program launch page is now visible.
Before clicking the Start Application link at the bottom of the page, you should first review the program eligibility requirements, familiarize yourself with the application criteria, and take a look at the different types of awards we offer. You may wish to jot down our ETES@neads.ca email address where you can reach us with any questions that may arise while completing your application. It may be helpful to peruse the frequently asked questions page, the link to which can be located at the bottom of the page next to the Start Application link. Some may also wish to make a note of the application deadline. Let's now get started by clicking the Start Application link.
Application panel 1 is now loaded.
Step 1 of the application is to enter some standard contact information like email address and phone number, and then to click Next. You may notice that you will be unable to click the Next button until all required fields have been completed. This feature has been enabled throughout the application to help ensure that applicants do not miss inputting important info or accidentally submit a partially complete application.
Application panel 2 is now loaded.
Step 2 asks you to fill out your educational details, including your student number, year of program, and program type. Once done inputting your info, click Next.
Taking a few moments to fill out the info. Application panel 3 is now loaded.
Step 3 is the supporting documentation portion of the application. This section has 3 components: the academic good standing verification form, uploading proof of enrollment, and providing a reference. First, click the download form link to obtain a copy of the academic good standing verification form.
Application form is now visible.
This form will need to be emailed or printed out and given to an educational institution staff member.
Back in application panel 3.
Please review the explanation of the form provided at the top of the page to learn important details, such as who should fill out your form. It is important to note that the person who completes your form will submit it to us. Next on this page is the uploading proof of enrollment. portion. Proof of enrollment is either an acceptance letter or a proof of enrollment letter from your college or university's registrar's office. If you do not have access to either of these documents at this moment, now might be a good time to click the Save and Continue Later link at the bottom of the page.
Saved application page is now visible.
When you click the Save Application link, you will be taken to a screen that generates a personalized link to your partially complete application. You can copy and paste the link somewhere for safekeeping, but the link will also be emailed to you at the email address that you inputted on the first panel of the application form. Once you have received your proof of enrollment documentation, you can resume your application by clicking the personalized link sent to you. Once back in the application form, click the File Upload button to attach your letter of admission or proof of enrollment letter. Files should be in PDF format. Screenshots and/or image files will not be accepted. Finally, the last component of this section is inputting the contact info for an academic or community reference. As the application form states, this person cannot be a family member or friend. When your application is submitted, your reference will receive an email that contains a link to a reference form. It is not uncommon for these automated emails to end up in the spam or trash folder of your reference, so it is advisable to touch base with them to let them know to look for the form. If for some reason they did not receive it, send us an email at ets@neads.ca and we will be happy to send them another copy. When done inputting your references contact info, click Next.
Application panel 4 is now visible.
Step 4 is a collection of 4 open-ended questions where you will tell us a bit about yourself and your experiences. Your answers to these questions are what our selection committee will look at when selecting recipients. Be prepared to discuss such topics as your self-advocacy experience, times when you were resilient, your history of volunteer and/or community involvement, and your academic and career goals. The 4th question pertaining to media accessibility is optional. Applicants who complete this question will be considered for the Accessible Media Incorporated Sir Robert Pearson Memorial Scholarship. Please note that you will be considered for all other scholarship types that you are eligible for. It is only the AMI scholarship that requires this specific extra step. Once you are happy with your responses and you have checked them over for spelling and grammatical errors, click Next to move to the second last step of the application.
Application panel 5 is now visible.
The next screen is super quick and easy. Select Yes if you wish to be considered for a summer internship opportunity with Canada Post, then click Next.
Application panel 6 is now visible.
You have now reached the last part of the application. At NEADS, we recognize the intersectional nature of the disability landscape and the diversity of experiences among those in our community. We know that students with disabilities have multiple intersecting identities that affect their ability to fully access education. And as such, one of our organizational commitments is to prioritize funding to multi-marginalized students. We ask that you take a few minutes to fill out the self-declaration questions included here. Then click Submit to officially submit your application.
Thank you for applying. Screen page is now visible.
Still have questions about the application process? If you cannot find the answers you need on our frequently asked questions page, send us an email at ets@neads.ca. We look forward to reviewing your application. Yeah, so just to clarify before we launch into a question and answer period, just some answers to some questions that arose during the playing of the video. I believe the reference related questions were clarified, that there's not a specific letter required, that they will receive a form. And just to help with any confusion, the NEADS Student Awards program deadline for the 2022 cycle is May 31st. And the deadline for applying to the Accessibility Resilience program is December 15th.
So on those questions that are on the form to apply, is there a limit to how many words should be on those for each paragraph?
It's not word limited in any way.
Okay,
we realize that that individuals vary on like how much space they need to provide sufficient answers.
Awesome. And just to formally open up the Q&A session, so all audience members are encouraged to participate, and to ask a question, feel free to use the chat box, send your questions to me if you want it to be done anonymously, or use the raise hand function and we will call on you. We really welcome all your questions. And I did have a few from the chat. So Axel asked, does our reference have to provide a letter or any documentation prior to applying?
Yeah, so they do not need to provide a letter. They will be emailed a reference form to complete.
Awesome. And then just a follow up, Odelia asks, what is the submission deadline for those reference forms?
So the submission of the reference forms is a little bit more of a gray area, but the application itself has to be submitted by the deadline in order for the reference to receive the automated form.
Awesome, thank you. And what has to be provided as a proof of enrollment?
So this would be either a letter of admission in the event that it is a high school student who hasn't started post-secondary yet, and or someone who is, say, transferring from one program to another, or it would just be a standard proof of enrollment letter from your registrar's office.
Also, I promise this isn't just me asking questions. These are from the audience. They're not premeditated. And do we include part-time students in eligibility?
So the program is intended for full-time studies, but that said, we use the 40% of a course load definition that is used in the Canada Student Financial Assistance Program. So if you meet that eligibility criteria, then you're eligible here.
Awesome. And then just, I promise these are not my questions. This is not premeditated. One more question from the chat. So can we still apply if we have tuition owing? Someone says they can't register for the school until that's paid.
If you send us an email at neads.ca, which I'm sure Carly can put in the chat, we can work through a little bit more of those personal situations.
And then one more question from Evan. Does this apply to apprenticeships?
A little bit more of a gray area, but if you're considered as full-time study in an apprenticeship, I don't see why. With an accredited trade school, etc., I don't see why that would be an issue.
Awesome. That's it for chat box questions so far. Feel free to ask more, raise your hand, go for it. Awesome. Brian, you have your hand up if you'd like to ask your question.
So I have a question about the declaration section of the application. I couldn't see if the declaration for disability was radio boxes or check boxes. I tick off at least 2 or 3 of those. How does that work?
Do you mean like in the self-declaration portion?
Yes.
So you can select as many options as you identify with.
Okay. And a follow-up for that regarding proof of permanent disability. What sort of information is needed for that?
So we only request proof of disability if you're selected as a recipient, just to try and not have people putting out personal information when they haven't been selected. So that can be one of 3 things. It can be proof that you received some sort of provincial or federal assistance specifically for students with disabilities, like the assistive technology for students with permanent disabilities grant. It can be documentation from medical professionals. So for example, a hearing test report, or it can be simply a letter of accommodation or a letter from your school's disability services office verifying that you receive services, because you would have had to have provided sufficient documentation to them. So trying not to duplicate that process.
Perfect, thank you.
If there are no other questions, I will ask them for the sake of asking them. So audience, get in there if you're looking to do that. All right, then I will, oh, perfect. Evan's coming in clutch. So Evan asks, how about as an adult, mature student going back to school after a long time, would they still be eligible?
Yes, you would still be eligible. We're still kind of working out our policies for this aspect in relation to implementing our academic good standing form. But basically, if it was the case of, say, an adult education, we would just request copies of some sort of documentation of like adult education, and or if there is like a diploma or a degree, a copy of a transcript from the last time you were in post-secondary studies.
I'm gonna ask questions, but oh, Joy, thank you so much. We got another through the chat box. So will there be access to a recording of the presentation? Yes. There will be a recording available on our YouTube. You can watch it as much as you want, all of the time. It'll be fun. Closed captioning will be provided on that too. And I see Judith has their hand up if you want to ask that question.
Yes, I have two questions. Excuse
Go
me.
for it.
So the first one is regarding the reference. When that reference person gets the form that's automatically generated, how long do they have to fill it out? How much time do you give them to fill out that form?
Our process is mostly just following up if we don't receive it, because applications close May 31st. So kind of June, July, we manually go through and check that all applications are complete and contact the applicant and or the reference in the case that something is missing. And typically we give about 10 days to respond to that request if it's not already been submitted.
Okay, and my second question, I think you said that the application itself had to be submitted by your school, by the university?
So
Did you say that, or?
So it's just the academic good standing verification form that needs to be submitted by the school. And there are all instructions included on the form for how to do that, and to who and by when, and so on and so forth.
Okay, I was just confused about that, I guess.
Yeah, sorry for the
Okay.
confusion.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and then Evan in the chat box asks, how long do the application forms take until you get a confirmation?
So usually recipients are notified November, December.
All right, does anyone have any other questions? Oh, perfect, Judith. Every time I ask that, it happens.
Yes,
Lovely, thank you.
yes, I have another question. So I just noticed that I forget the two different names, but they're two different grant or funding streams, but one of them you said was COVID-19 related, and it covered mental health counseling. So I was thinking of applying for that, but the mental health counseling is not, that I would need, is not specifically COVID-19 related. It's just counseling in general. So would you approve that if I were to apply, or does
Yeah,
it have
so
to
I
be
can-
COVID-19 related?
Yeah, so I can explain a little bit more about the accessibility resilience program specifically. So what happens within that program is in your application, the only kind of written question that you'll be asked to respond to is how COVID-19 has impacted you personally and your educational experience. And then from that, we look at the quality of the explanation of barriers to accessing education during COVID-19 and level of resiliency. So if you're accepted as a recipient, what you use the funding for can go to any of those categories that were outlined. So it does not have to be mental health counseling specifically related to COVID. It is just aimed at helping people access those services that have quite a steep cost often.
Okay, great. I understand. Thank you.
Welcome. And if any questions come up like after now, you can always contact us at etes@needs.ca. I think there
And
was
just
another
a-
question that came through the chat.
Yeah, Evan asked, what can be done if, for example, I am not accepted? Would there be an error? Sorry, Evan, I don't quite, if you could elaborate a bit on that.
Yeah. if you
Oh,
could-
do you mean like, will you get a certain email sharing that you did not receive an award, kind of like a confirmation?
If that is what you mean, only recipients will be contacted.
And then I see Judith has their hand up. If you'd like to ask another question.
So can I go ahead?
Mhm.
Okay, so there was a part about a university official submitting documents. Could it be my accessibility advisor?
Yeah,
Because I'm
absolutely.
registered with accessibility services, or could it be someone from my registrar's office who could submit
Yep.
the forms?
So both of those individuals would be acceptable and suitable individuals to complete and sign off that on that form. And there's a whole list of them included on the form, from high school principals to accessibility advisors to registrar staff to even someone's professor or thesis supervisor, program coordinator, etc.
Okay,
I just
Thank
want to
you.
jump in here for a second. Here's Frank Smith, National Coordinator. What a great presentation. Thank you so much, Katja, and thank you to Eniola as well. And the interpreters, great work, everybody. If you're not, of course, we have a certain limited amount of funding from Government of Canada to run these programs, and also from, as Katja pointed out, a number of private sector and other funders of different programs, including AMI and Canada Post. But if you don't get funding through our programs, don't be discouraged. We also have our disabilityawards.ca website, which is a financial aid portal, which has hundreds of scholarships, awards, and bursaries listed, and with links to the application and websites of those particular programs. We actually have a Leah Pinsik Grant who manages that website joining us here today. So I just want to let you know that, and we have information on federal, provincial, and territorial grants and loans programs up on that website too. So it's just to let you know that we're doing everything we can within a limited amount of funding from various sources to provide our own limited number of awards through our programs. But we also, as an organization, are making an effort to provide information on as many financial aid programs that are available through government programs, colleges and universities, non-governmental organizations, including our own, on that fantastic disabilityawards.ca website. So I encourage you to also check out that resource.
Thanks, Frank. I believe there's been another question in the chat. And if you can read that out, Carly.
Yes, I can. I'm not distracted at all. Nope. Lots of questions. Let's see. Ruben asked, just to clarify, the National Student Award only has 42 available slots. Yet this year we have 42 needs. Now, why am I answering this, Katya?
Yeah. So we personally have about 50 scholarships available that we like detailed the 7 different types. So yes, there is 42 slots specifically for the $3,000 NEADS Student Award, but there is also the $1,000 Christine Nieder Memorial Award, the $1,000 Holly Bartlett Memorial Award, the $10,000 Canada Post Award, the 2 $5,000 Accessible Media Incorporated Awards, the $1,000 Bridgman Hogue Memorial Scholarship, and the $5,000 Connor Carkin Lung Financial Group Scholarship. So lots of opportunities.
Awesome. And I hope that answered Evan's question about the funding amounts available.
Pardon? Could you repeat that?
Sorry, we just answered a question, so I just wanted to connect that so everyone. Yeah. All right. I'm going to say it again. So it's going to have a question. Does anyone have any questions before I cut you off? If I go to say something, will someone have a question? All right. Then Katja, any last words in like a totally non-anonymous way before I get into closing remarks?
No, I think that's all, other than thank you for the opportunity to share the information.
Incredible. Katja is the best. Katja, like the whole awards team, you all work so hard. Like I cannot stress how hard this stuff is behind the scenes. Am I involved in it? No. Have I heard about it? Yes. So a few quick promotions before we wrap up. Please stick around. They're kind of worth it. So quick preview, and this is like pretty exclusive of our spring summer events lineup. We will be having a Q&A on attendance services with Kimberly Chiasson, May 13th, a panel on disability in the public service with Statistics Canada, May 20th, a Q&A with our national coordinator, Frank Smith, May 25th, best boss, a grad studies panel on June 10th, including Karen Tang, whose testimony was read out earlier. And we will be having our 4th Virtual Access for All panel, June 29th. Don't quote me on that. It is an absolutely packed schedule. So make sure you're subscribed to our needs letter and social media for upcoming event details. I will be dropping links to our social media in the chat as I say this. Also, I don't need to promote our awards programs because Katja's done such an incredible job, but links to the applications are available in the chat box. We are also searching for new directors in Saskatchewan and Prince Edward Island, as well as panelists for our first Virtual Access for All panel. One more thing, our latest State of the Schools publication will be out by the end of this month, focusing on advocacy and hybrid learning. It is one you do not want to miss. It will be available under the resources tab of disabilityawards.ca. The coolest stuff, and where we go to sign up about all the other events happening, keep an eye out on our needs letter. We will send out all events promotions that way. I think that sums it up. Then we are good to stop recording. And Judith, do you have a question?
Yes, I was just confused. I